My name is Rich McGonigal and I run Friend of Mine and I live in Cornwall.
My name's Mick, I'm from Lockbox and I run the distribution for Europe for Lockbox Fin Company, which is based in San Diego. Today's event is the fish fry. The idea behind it is for shapers to have the ability to show off their work in front of the general public and other members of the shaping community. The shapers here today, I would imagine there's somewhere in the region of about 25, and they range from anywhere from local to here, from 10 miles away, to people like Chris Christensen who have travelled from the west coast of America. These are all literally hand shaped and each board is individual to that shaper. Therefore you see a variety of shapes and a variety of ways of manufacture. Well, AB3 was brought along to open the fish fry up because the fish fry was predominantly for fish shaped boards. So to open up the field a bit more, we brought along AB3, and AB3 is anything but 3. So you can have any board as long as it doesn't have 3 fins in it. So, you know, that then brings in quads and it brings in bonzas with 5 fins and a variety of long boards and logs and all sorts of boards, but it keeps out that mainstream thruster, which is maybe 80% of the production worldwide. Go on, Rich, have a go.
We have the alternative boards here, so it brings a lot of the people that are necessarily not inside the box, you know, and they want to think outside of the box and willing to experiment with different shapes, setups, and so it brings them all in a room together with their shapers to discuss either future projects. They can see things in the flesh that they've only seen on, you know, the internet or the television, and they can all share ideas, share techniques. You can just hear it when you're here throughout the day. It's back to the grassroots of surfing, you know, as whether it's the guy in the shed who makes a surfboard purely for himself and brings it, or it's the guy that is still making a living out of it, but it's all hand shaped and, you know, it works.
I'll give you an example of that. In 2010 the fry was held in Southern Ireland, and one guy turned up with 3 hand-shaped wooden boards that he had shaped in his mother's woodshed. And to actually shape those boards he had to empty the whole shed full of wood, shape the board and then put all the wood back. And Rich Pavel turned up at the fry, who shaped in it well in excess of 10,000 boards. And he took a shine to him, and 2 days later after the fry he ended up in that woodshed shaping the board with it.
A lot of the guys that come here as well, they're the greatest shapers you've never heard of. You know, they're in the woodwork, but they're just equally as, you know, equally as great, if not better, but they're just kind of like, you know, off the radar a little bit, and they don't necessarily want that, but it's just a fantastic place for people to meet your maker, you know.
I'm Chris Christensen. I'm from Cardiff by the Sea, California. I'm the owner and shaper of Christensen Surfboards. I've done over 15,000 boards. I've been shaping about 20 years now. And I'm out here in Cornwall area of England, attending, I think this is my 3rd European fish fry. I've always been attracted to grassroots events. I came to the very first one, which was in Woolacombe, and had a blast and made some new friends. And then I went to the one in Italy, and actually of all the fish fries out here, I think Italy had the best waves out of all of them. And I just recently was in Italy because of the event I attended last time. I went into Italy a couple months ago and did some shaping out there through the connections I made last time. So I enjoy doing these kinds of things, just sticking your neck out there. You never know what happens. And some of the guys on billboards for now, some of the notables, I mean, obviously Greg Long, who won the Eddie on my equipment. Make a lot of boards for Ian Walsh, Mark Healy, Brad Gerlach. There's a couple of kids, I can't say their name yet, but a lot of the traveling pros, Hobgood brothers, Parsons. You know, I mean, as small as the surf industry is, it can still be quite corporate. So it's just neat seeing, you know, just kind of the underground guys all getting together and I don't know, I think true innovation usually comes from the grassroots movements, really, rather than everyone else chasing the leaders, you know. My specialty has always been just doing everything. I kind of ride everything, and my kind of everything in my life's really diversified. I have a lot of hobbies and listen to a lot of different types of music, and I kind of approach surfboards that way too. I think surfboards are like golf clubs. That's always been my motto. You can't hit the same club for every shot, and I don't think you should ride the same surfboard for every session. So I built from just your standard performance thruster, the guns, to small wave longboards, paddle boards, twin fins, single fins, everything.
Got my headphones on, I won't hear a sound.
My name is Rob from Surfboards by Royal. I'm a shaper. I shape them, glass them, finish them, do the whole thing. Just strictly custom surfboards from Santa Cruz, California. Fish fry, I've kind of always been interested in them. I've been to all of them. To me, it just really represents all the things that are really important, or that I think are important anyway, about the surfboard industry. A bunch of craftsmen getting together, sharing ideas, networking, meeting with the public, kind of raising awareness, keeping that skill set alive, and appreciating the work that goes into all the boards. At the moment, I've been really interested in the sort of the reworking of the twin fins from the 80s. Mostly because my first real surfboard back then was a 5.2 twin fin, and I just fell in love with it. They just have all the sort of characteristics I like about surfboards. They're fast, they're free running. You don't have to put a lot of work in them to get a lot of reward out of them. The problem with those was they're just too thick and cumbersome. So I've sort of taken what I've learned over the years of making all the boards I love, and sort of revised all those things and distilled them down into a really modern performance twin fin. I think one of the great things about this event is not only does it bring a bunch of professionals together, but it encourages people, anyone really, to make their own surfboard. That's sort of where I got started originally, and to me, I think that's something that I really want to encourage everyone to do. It's something that gives you such a sense of reward to make something yourself and go out and paddle around and catch some waves. It's an incredible thing, and these events really encourage people to do that, which I think is great.
My name's Ig.
Where'd you come from, Ig?
Just up the road, like Heartland way. I got into shaping wooden boards just because I had to go. I shaped my first fiberglass board probably about 7 years ago, and then just having the filth of fiberglass dust and foam dust all over you, it wasn't too pleasant. Yeah, they're just basically lumps of wood. I went out to Ecuador and had an idea of shaping like balsa, so I started shaping balsa when I was out there. When I got back, went on to use cedar, but the only cedar I could get hold of was like full of knots, and it proved to be quite a heavy board. And then one of the knots dropped through after about 6 months of riding it, and it filled with water. So that one went back on the wall. This is like a newer development where I'm pressing all of the concaves in and pressing the roll of the deck in, which means you can go thinner with your material because you're putting more curves in. So you're curving in 2 directions. So you're curving across the board and curving from nose to tail, and then going even more with a double concave to single concave here. It's just stiffening the whole board up. Then fin boxes. I thought I'd have to give it a go of making fin boxes, and the first ones are made out of a bit of driftwood mahogany, and actually the 2 side boxes broke when I gave it to a mate. I surfed it fine, but he was surfing it a lot harder obviously, and broke the sidewalls of them. And then made some new ones and reinforced the tops with bits of fish crate, and then laminated up some fish crates to make like leash plugs, and just trying things out really. I think that's key really, is just trying things out. And like this board is a complete trial beast, which is just, I mean, it's great fun. It isn't going to ever be a radical thruster, but you're never going to be able to surf it like that. But when you catch a wave on it, you're definitely like pleased. Same with that long one, it's just a plank of wood, and riding a plank of wood without, you know, took me about 2 hours to shape. It took me about 2 hours to catch my first wave on it.
I'm Tim Stafford here at the Fish Fry, Crackington Haven 2012. Came last year and absolutely loved it, and it's an opportunity really for us all to talk about different shapes and designs, and there's so many different views on surfboards. There's no right or wrong anything, and I think that's what I love about boards. It's what inspires me, is the design side. It's not about definitive things, it's about concepts and the execution of them and being able to experiment and use different influences. My influences are more sort of engineering based, in that I look at fluid dynamics and use basic principles of fluid dynamics to try and come up with different ways of effectively solving problems, because whenever you're surfing you're wanting to do certain things, and if your board isn't giving you that reaction, then to me that's just, I'm looking for a solution to find that reaction. Basically what you've got is you're taking a single concave and then running it in channels between the fins. And the idea behind that is to control the water and stop it escaping off the rail. And by stopping the water escaping off the rail, the water all flows through the tail and the board has to go faster. This board is what's called an asymmetric, and I've taken a somewhat different approach to what convention is for asymmetrics. What I've tried to do is make a board that's actually handed to the surfer, not to the wave. And as a result, what we've got is the shorter rail line on the front side, on the toe side, where you actually apply less pressure, with a really large cutaway fish fin, which is my own foil that I've made in California. These are the Bonza runners, which all of my boards are Bonzas, and the principles on which that's based. It's all about containing water and makes the boards faster and more fun and easier to surf. They do roundhouse cutbacks beautifully, they come off the bottom with more speed and projection. And then on the heel side we've got a longer rail where you actually apply more pressure through the heel. This means that you get a board that surfs as well backside as front side. It just really, for me, is like the best of both worlds. I always struggled with having boards that were good one way and not the other, and most of our waves are beach breaks, you want to go left and right. So to have a board that can do both to the optimum for me was a bit of a holy grail, and so I guess this is my holy grail. This board is fairly unique. It's an outer limit 6'6" spiral V pintail. It's not a replica, but it is one of the last 25 outer limit surfboards to be made, which I'm making with Martin Geary, who made the original boards back in the 70s. And we joined up recently through a fairly interesting story, and we're making 25 boards, the last ones ever, and they're to Martin's original shape, and we're using all the sort of original details like resin pin lines, simple blue bursts, simple light tints, and single fin. And this one is typically Martin in that it's got spiral V, which is a different type of V, which is what Martin was renowned for throughout his shaping career.
I'm Paul Smith from Glide Surfboards. I make surfboards in Southern Ireland, around Kerry and Cork region. Basically I just let the shapes and colours do the work, you know. I'm not one for talking. I like longboards because that's what I ride, but people pigeonhole me. You know, you get pigeonholed with, oh, you're a log shaper, aren't you? But, you know, I do everything. Shortboards, longboards, you know. Got a team rider who's like now Irish longboard champion, this year for the first time competing, and then he's currently third in the Open on a shortboard. I'm a rep for Lockbox. I've been using Lockbox for nearly 6 years. You know, to me, I support the fin system. That's it. Anybody who isn't using it should be. You know, it is the best fin system. You know, turn my boards over, you won't find another fin system in them. This is my fish fry board this year. It's a 6.0 speed dialer. I work with Rich Pavel, so that's the guy who gets my props. You know, I've done boards with Rich, and to me, quintessentially, Rich is the guy for a fish. Shit hot fast speed, quad fins, You know, this one's a bit different because it's basically all I've polished is the centre. You know, it comes out nice. You know, people think this is the foam company who've done this. That's a resin tint. So there's a single concave up the middle, sort of double between the fins, and a little bit of extra special stuff a little bit down the rail.
I just want to thank everyone here for the hospitality, and Mick from Lockbox always put a lot of energy in this event, and it's great. Fish fries kind of started where I'm from in San Diego, and I've been to fish fries in Japan, fish fries in Australia, California, and then the couple events here seem to have the best energy, so I'm back.
Are you feeling strange?
I lost it. And my train of thought's gone down the other.
Do you want me to go?
Go. Wow.
It's good on the gag reel. Okay.
I believe in, I got a plan. Yeah, I got a reason. If you got a plan, I got a reason.